What's going on, world? DS1 Ross, and I'm back. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody who support me, this platform, SHEEPSTAYSLEEPTV. Very much appreciated. Much love to everybody. We back here on Sheep Stay Sleep TV once again. And today, like I said before, we will be delving deeper into my concept of heal before we build. And today is just another show about that. We're going to delve deeper into the concept of heal before we build. What does that exactly mean? How do we do it? Um, what are some of our issues? What are the things we need to heal? You know, all of these questions pop up when I say these things. So I've been delving deeper into this whole concept. Check out the show I done called The Attachment Theory, where I go into the power of attachments. Also check out Understanding Pain Bodies, where I broke down pain bodies and how is um trauma is basically transferred. Also, you can check out The Power of Paradigms. Check out all three of those shows because it all ties into what we're dealing with when it comes to healing before building and why I actually say this. And as of late, you know, we see these things play out, man. You know, we're never gonna get on one accord with one another if we don't heal certain aspects of ourselves as individuals. We'll never be able to build as a collective because there's always gonna be some form of fighting, some form of some destructive behavior that is going to hinder progress or some behavior that will create regression. So this is why I say we got to heal before we build. I'm not telling us not to build. The concept is to build. But first we have to make sure that we're constantly in that mode. And as we can see and what's been going on, um, this whole building as a collective thing is looking too far and in between as a concept to follow anymore. Because every time, you know, brothers, sisters, whoever try to come together and build, it's going to be some form of destruction at some point. This is why I say we got to get it together. You know, shout out to everybody in the chat. If you in the chat room, please hit the like button and share the show. We'll be starting in a minute. I'll give y'all some time to come through. But yeah, y'all see it. Y'all see why I say this, because it's playing out in front of us. You know, the dysfunction is always at an all-time high, and it's always playing out in front of us right here on YouTube. And this is why I say we have to heal before we build, because it's gonna be something or somebody with some type of problem that's going to impede progress. Always. Those people are gonna always exist, but they can't exist amongst you and the people that you're trying to build something with. See, that's the issue. Haters, detractors, shit starters, they're gonna always exist. But the problem is when they exist amongst you and your group, or your group and another group you're associated with. That's when problems start. That's when you start to see shit coming out. And that's the problem, man. That's the problem. And this is why I've always said I don't ever think us as a people are gonna get it together as one, as one big collective. We'll never be together like the X-Men. You see how the X-Men are to how Professor X was able to galvanize all of these people, but he had to teach them how to live amongst each other, how to coexist, how to work in cohesion. He had to teach them these things, how to control their powers. He had to teach them this. And see, these are the things that Black people need to learn. We need to learn this as individuals in order to work as a unit. Everybody has to play their part. And I talked about this numerous times. I go and check out the show I did called Roles, where I broke down excuse me, where I broke down roles and how important they are and why it's important that everybody stick to that. I talked about this. This is why the X-Men are powerful the way they are. Everybody play their role. Everyone knows their powers and operate as such. We need to learn that as a people. We need to learn that. We really need to learn that. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to JT. All right, no doubt, bro. Thanks for coming through and showing love. I appreciate it. Shout out to Cool Gent. Shout out to my sis and the great moderator, Poetic Kels. Shout out to Tony Smith. Who else up in here? Shout out to King Wage. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in. I appreciate it. Hit the like button and share the show. We're going to get the show together in a minute. But yeah, it's no need to keep wondering why we can't get it together. Because we got to heal before we build, man. At this point, I don't see nothing else working. I just don't. Because the people who have um who've decided to heal and to move on from things in their life and to build towards having a better future, those are the people who are going to, you know, be grouped up. But you're gonna always have pockets of these groups. It's never gonna be one big group until certain people learn to get over themselves. See what I'm saying? People gonna have to learn how to get out their own way. Real. Gonna have to learn how to get out our own ways, man. If we really want it to work. Because it's not working because of that. There's always a reason for some bullshit arguments. There's always some. And it's because a lot of people are in secret competition. A lot of people are jealous, you know. This stuff sits at the seat of people, man. And we can't get out of each other's way for those reasons. No doubt, JT. You know, this is why healing should be at the forefront. Should be at the forefront, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. Like I said, make sure y'all like the stream, share the show. Very much appreciated. We're gonna get into it. Understanding soul ties and soul tie psychology. We're gonna talk about soul ties today, family. Soul ties. It says a soul tie is defined as a spiritual connection between two people who have been physically intimate with each other or who have had an intense emotional or spiritual association or relationship. So, this is why you hear people here on YouTube when we talk about relationships. This is why they say, black men and women have to choose better. We have to choose better mates. And it's because of this whole thing dealing with soul ties. You know, let me read the definition again. But a soul tie doesn't have to, you don't have to be connected through, um, you're not going to be bonded to a person just through sex, basically. But what makes the soul tie as strong as it does is sex. Because for the most part, when you're having sex, um, for the most part, I'm gonna say you're extremely emotional. Your emotions is heightened during intimacy. But a soul tie is a spiritual connection between two people who have been physically intimate with each other or who have an intense emotional or spiritual association or relationship. You see? So it doesn't just have to be sex, but it could be emotional or spiritual. But for the most part, when you having sex, you deal with those intense emotions. And this is why they say you have to choose better partners. Because a lot of times we become um extremely tied to people through sex. And a lot of times we be tied to the wrong people through sex. Shout out to Haven. But this is how soul ties are formed. A lot of times it's through sex. For the most part, it is. If you get married before you have sex, then you will create that soul tie through emotional and spiritual connection. Well, spiritual association rather. That will connect y'all into having that soul tie. So you may be solely tied to a person that's in your church, like a pastor or something. Y'all have that spiritual association. that bond. Y'all being sisters in faith keeps y'all bonded the way y'all do, you know? And that happens a lot in religion with people, with men and women, you know? So you can create a soul tie that way also. But mainly, and what we're going to focus on is the physical, because that's what plagues us. That's what keep us bonded to the wrong people a lot of times, is the sex. A lot of us get married because of good sex. And all you did was create a soul tie to this person. And this person may not be a person that's good for you. They may be good for sex, but not good for marriage. That may sound bad, but that's just the time that we're in, where people don't have sex for marriage. People don't have sex for just procreation anymore. Because people, you know, our women then had that, they have that choice. They've been granted that freedom to where they can just have sex with a man and don't have his child. Where back in the old paradigm, women only had sex with men that they planned to procreate with or didn't mind procreating with. But now with certain things that was given, you know, certain rights that were given to women, they don't have to have a baby by men. They could just fuck on them all they want, you know? And this is another reason why men feel, you know, men don't feel obligated to children. So the whole system is out of whack. It's all fucked up. You see? But this is why when you hear that statement, oh, we gotta choose better, that is a good point. But do you really have good stock to choose from at the end of the day? Because for the most part, all Black people are plagued with some form of trauma. We're all fucked up in some sort of fashion. We may have other parts in our life in order, but there's other things that, you know, has broken us. You see? And when you come in contact with a person and y'all start having sex and all of that, and the sex is good, you know, and y'all create that soul tie, and then from that point on, shit start going downhill. Shit get bad. And it's not and it's not that y'all won't have good sex anymore, but you come to find out that that person may not be that person that's for you. They may not be that person that can be with you for the rest of your life. And then you're gonna hear people say, well, why have sex with them? Well, that's what everybody does. We're not gonna be try to be politically correct, because nobody lives a politically correct life. Nobody. You have pastors with children out of wedlock and everything. So we're gonna deal with people as they are right now. Shout out to my man Mike Brown. You see what I'm saying? So this is why they say that. Because sex is that powerful. We may think it's that simple, but it's not. This is why it's hard for certain guys to stop, you know, having a side chick. because that side chick could be doing something in a sexual way that just keep them coming back. And then sometimes it don't have to be sexual. Sometimes they could have that emotional connection where you could go to this woman and talk to her, and she listens to you. She's that emotional support that your wife may not be. Because we got to stop thinking that everybody's going to be everything for you. You see what I'm saying? Excuse me, my bad, y'all. But we have to stop thinking that. You see, one person cannot be everything for you. Give me a second, y'all. I'll be right back. Yeah, I'm back, y'all. But yeah, like I was saying, that's why it's very important that you pick the right mate. Because sex is what's creating a lot of chaos in our relationships. A lot of crazy shit that go on between us is the result of these sexual ties that we have with each other, you know? So we got to understand that. So let's get into the next thing. It says, what are the signs of soul ties? It says, there are 7 symptoms that will manifest when you're dealing with an ungodly soul tie. See, the reason why I brought up the church stuff too is because this stuff is connected to a lot of religious things. So it says things that will manifest is the demise of communication. You'll stop talking. So these are some of the effects of what happens when a soul tie is created and it's not created the right way. So you may notice in the beginning of a relationship, y'all talk about everything. The sex is good. Y'all, y'all communicating about everything. Y'all open with each other. And then all of a sudden, You stop talking. Y'all always arguing. You go your way, she go her way, type of stuff. See, these are signs of bad soul ties. Loss of identity. You won't know who you are. You ever been in a relationship like that? You always hear people say that. I don't even know who I am anymore. Yeah, you hear that a lot. You lose your identity because you end up getting caught up in this person and you lose yourself. Failure to see the humanity in others. Feeling like nobody gets you. You ever been in a relationship like that? Where you feeling like you're the only one in the relationship? Your partner no longer understands you. Everything is just a ball of confusion. These are signs of bad soul ties. The inability to recognize suffering when you don't even see that your partner is going through anything. You ever been in a relationship and you'll be so stressed out and you wonder why your partner don't see that you're stressed. They don't see that you're going through something. And it's because they've become numb. You see? Because the only thing that's going to make them feel good again is what y'all are bonded together with in the first place, which is sex. And this is why outside of sex, for the most part, a lot of us don't get along with each other in relationships. A lot of our relationships were powered off of great sex. And it was sustained as long as it did off of sex. But outside of sex, there's no intimacy. Outside of sex, there's no healthy communication. There's no cooperation outside of the bedroom. You see? It's because you are binded and tied to this person through sex, not through that intense emotion or that spiritual association. This is why, in the church they say, you know, um, two virgins should get together and get married and they both break their virginities together. Because then they will not only be bonded through sex, but they'll be bonded through intense emotion and through that spiritual association. Y'all both go to church, y'all grew up in church. Everything y'all know and y'all live is through the word of God. So y'all are the perfect match to be put together. This is what they say. I'm not saying that this is what happens because we know it doesn't work like that. Nothing's cookie cut like that. Because you get people that grow up in church and get together and they still act crazy. So I'm not saying that. I'm just giving an example of why these things are mentioned in religion. Why they say you shouldn't have sex until you get married. Because actually, the act of sex actually bonds y'all together anyway. That's why they say you shouldn't have sex with somebody you wouldn't marry or have children with. This is why this is said. because a soul tie is formed. A soul tie is formed when you're dealing with sex. Now, I'm gonna give you the difference between a soul tie and a soul mate, just in case y'all have a question about it. The difference, a soul tie is formed whenever there is an intense attraction to someone. A soul mate is completely different. A soulmate is to have an intense connection that is beneficial to both parties. You see? That's the difference between a soul tie and a soul mate. When you meet a soul, when you saying you're with your soulmate, then y'all connection is supposed to benefit both of y'all. Okay? When you dealing with a soul tie, you dealing with just an attraction to someone, an intense attraction. You see? So understand that when we dealing with what's going on, Mika, thanks for tuning in. So when you dealing with soul ties, we have to understand that these things are things that we don't understand is the root of us not letting certain people go out of our life. You see? Well, of course, we've all heard of, women talk about that guy they just can't leave alone, no matter how bad he treat her, no matter what he do to her, no matter how many kids he put in her and leave her, she just can't leave him alone. That's a soul tie. She's bonded to him. And she's either bonded to him through sex or through emotion. And a lot of times it be both. What's going on, Monica? You see? You ever hear about that dude that he's just so in love with this girl, and she just treats him the worst, but for some reason he just can't leave her alone. He won't leave her alone. He give up all his money. No matter how many times she embarrass him, he just keep coming back. That's a soul tie. That's a soul tie. You see? And this can even be with your family. This doesn't have to be with, like I said, it doesn't always have to deal with physical intimacy. You may be in, think about it. For a lot of us black men, we're solely tied to our mothers because we grew up around our mothers for the most part. We're basically tied to our mothers. Hence why a lot of us brothers been on here talking about the matriarchy and how as we got older, we learned a lot of things about women through our mothers and through the women that we were raised around. You see? So a lot of us are tied to our mothers. And a lot of us didn't have good relationships with our mothers. Hence why we don't have great and functional relationships with women. Because we're kind of connected to that energy that we get from that abuse that we got from our mothers. This is why we get with other abusive women in our life, because you're tied to that energy. You're tied to it. You see? So we got to understand how this stuff works and how it continues to be transferred, and why we cannot get to the building part in our relationships with each other. Do you notice when you listen to most people talk about their relationships, they always say shit started out good in the beginning. You know why? Because for the most part, in the beginning of your relationship, y'all just fucking and having fun. You see? And for the most part, in the beginning, and I spoke about this in my relationship series, you're dealing with the representative. So the sex and all of that shit is so good, and y'all enjoying each other because y'all both got y'all representatives present. And that's who you become solely tied to. You're not connected to the real person. You're connected to the representative. And when the stage of y'all fucking and having fun starts to dwindle, because that only lasts a couple of it only gonna last a couple of years the most. Especially if a dude, he got some business about him. After a while, he used to y'all fucking and all of that type of shit. He's gonna want to know what else can you offer? And it's the same thing for women. If they got something about themselves, they're gonna want to know what else could you offer. In other ways, how are you resourceful? And this is when you start hearing the person saying, "Oh, this person changed." No, this person didn't change. You're just in the next phase of a relationship. It's no longer about fucking and fun anymore. Now it's about building. Now it's about finance. How responsible are you now? Do you clean up your house type of shit? If I want to keep dealing with this woman, can I see myself having children with her? So what type of woman are you? You see? Now you're in the next phase. So this is when you start hearing, "Oh, this person changed." You see what I'm saying? That's when you start hearing that, because now there's more to be required. Yeah, there's enough good communication for y'all to fuck. That's what it is. Because for the most part, like I said, in the beginning, y'all both are showing y'all representative. So to relate, y'all communicating well enough, because if y'all both attracted to one another, y'all want to see what's up. So y'all the communication is gonna be good enough for y'all to have sex. That's how most relationships are even established as being, you know, well enough to even keep it going. And that's just being honest on both sides of the spectrum, you know. But this is what it is. We're getting together on a lot of false pretenses. And then we're creating these strong bonds to each other that's not based on anything that's real. And it creates a big mess. It creates a big mess in everyone's life, in your life, in the person you was dealing with life. And then a lot of that stuff trickles down. And it takes time for people to get over things, and it starts to change people. Those things begin to change you as a person, because your experiences is what make you. And this is why you have women saying that, you have some women saying that they celibate, because they understand the power of sex. And if they give themselves up in that way, they know that if the sexual chemistry is strong enough, they can then be connected to a person that can perhaps hurt them again. You see? And that's why they tell you in religion to remain celibate until you're ready to be married. That is the whole reason for that. So you can save yourself all these years of issues. That's why they said that. And I understand that shit. But that is the reason for it. To save you years and years of, black women hating black men and black men hating black women because of some shit we done been through relationship wise. Because celibacy is nothing but sexual discipline. That's all it is. Celibacy is not nothing bad. It's just sexual discipline. It's just you being sexually disciplined. I'm not having sex until I feel like this is the dude I want to have sex with. And you could put your own stipulations on it. You don't have to be celibate because you want to be married. You could just not be having sex because you don't want to have sex with a fuck boy. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to have sex with a dude who won't even consider calling you after that. It don't have to be, I'm not having sex because I'm waiting for my husband. That's bullshit. You know, just say you don't want to put yourself out there. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Because see, I understand the power of sex, you know? And some guys need to most guys, if they not in a relationship, they definitely need to practice dick discipline. That's what I call it. Because if you out here running reckless and you don't have no children, you don't have no woman, running around and being sexually undisciplined, you could end up with a disease. You could end up broke. You know what I'm saying? Because with women, you gotta have some type of money. I don't care if you even gotta take her out one time if you gonna sleep with her that night. So running around being, for men, being sexually undisciplined could fuck you up financially and health wise too. But the number one thing why you should practice it, because you don't want to create these bad soul ties, which will keep you locked in for years, keep you locked into a situation. You see? Because if you're not ready to create these bonds with people, then it's best you stay away from it, because It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. You can't escape it from happening. Yeah, that's true too. That's true too, Mika. The sex might not be worth the next body count. That's a fact. That's what I said. It don't always have to be some religious reason why anyone want to be celibate. You know, you could just be practicing sexual discipline because you want to feel like you want to give it to a specific person. There's nothing wrong with that. What's going on, Amanda? That's a fact, Mike Brown. They got all types of shit out here now. So dudes, it ain't cool no more for dudes to be running around just smashing any and everything. That shit ain't cool. That shit is whack, as a matter of fact. That shit is corny. How I look at it, dudes should be worrying about the quality of pussy they get. That's more important. The quality, you know. Man, y'all wilding in the chat room. Shout out to everybody in the chat too. But I definitely wanted to bring this to y'all this afternoon, fam. I know I was supposed to do it last night, but got a little too busy. But shout out to y'all. I appreciate y'all. Nah, it's all good, Mike. It's all good, bro. You good in here, man. Oh yeah, that's a fact, Mika. That's a that's a fact. You know, I just think, with a lot of the shit that we see in the street, like just on social media and the shit that we see that people catch on videos and all that, man. You gotta be easy out here, man. You definitely gotta have some sexual discipline. What's going on, Miss Chantel? But the main thing and the reason for me bringing this topic up is because you don't want to create these bad soul ties with people because it keeps us. What it does is it creates dysfunction, or it adds to the dysfunction that we're already dealing with. Like I said, check out the attachment theory, where I talked about the different forms of attachment. See, all of these streams are connected. The power paradigms, the attachment theory, um, understanding pain bodies. All of these are connected. It's all connected, y'all. Y'all gotta follow each stream. So if you haven't yet, go and check them out. Because see, with the attachment theory, based on the attachment theory, that is basically like the root of our dysfunction, which in the end, we're gonna experience some type of trauma in our life which will in turn create a pain body that we become attached to in order to survive. And then the attachment theory plays right into the soul ties and who you are bonded to and why you are bonded to this person. What made you pick the person that you decided to pick and to lay down and have sex with and to have children by? What made you pick this person? What made you pick the next person and the next person? You see, these things could be followed and understood if you take time to pay attention to what the choices you make in your life. You see? But it's harder to pay attention to the decisions that you make when you're living in dysfunction. Because a lot of times you're just making decisions to survive. So you may get with a guy because at this time, at this point in time in your life, you may have don't have nowhere to go. So you may need this guy because he'll protect you and he'll provide some shelter for you. But this may be a guy you totally don't want to be connected to at all. But based on some things that happen in your life, you kind of need this person at this time. You see how that's what the attachment theory talks about. You see, you have to be attached to this person because of some shit that happened in your past. That has affected you throughout your whole life, which has led you to make decisions that you make, which led you up to making the decision to be with this bad dude or this bad woman, and you end up having a child by this person. Now, in some sort of fashion, you're connected to this person for the rest of your life. Because even if you're not with the mother of your children or the father of your children anymore, you're still connected to them through your child. That's the connection between you and that person forever. The child. You're going to always see your baby father when you look at your son or when you look at your daughter. You're going to always be reminded of your baby mama when you look at your son or when you look at your daughter. You see? What's going on, Rainy Woman? What's going on, Shaw? Thanks for tuning in. But this is why I said all of those streams are connected. The power of paradigms, the attachment theory, um, understanding pain bodies. Now, today we're understanding soul ties and soul tie psychology. All of these things are connected. You see? Now, I'm gonna give you an example. And I'm gonna give two examples because I'm gonna give a female one and a male one. Now, a girl, she's born. She's born into an environment where men around her are abusive and abrasive and aggressive. So this is what she knows. She grew up watching her moms get abused, her aunts. She hear about her aunts being abused, hospitalized, all of these things. But when she come across these men that are doing all these abusive things, they nice to her. They give her things. They buy her little things. So from a young girl, she's being incentivized to accept abuse. from a little girl. And then the mom, she doesn't divorce the father, even though he's abusive, because she wants to model the family structure to her family. So she stays in a relationship and accepts the abuse, just so her kids could grow up in a two-family house. And because she believes, and what she was taught was, if your children grow up in a two-family household, they'll grow up and be successful. You see? But he or she, but she forgot that it has to be two functional parents. It has to be two functional parents. It's not just two parents in the household. It has to be two functional parents in the household. So now when that girl grows up, she's going to experience more forms of abuse from other people outside. And she's going to learn to internalize it because she saw her mother do it. Then she's going to pick her a guy that mirrors the abusive men that were already in her life. So he may have money, he may be able to do little things for her in the beginning, but he's abusive. So long before she laid down with this abusive man that had children by him, she's already created a soul tie to that abusive nature in men. You see? And she accepts it because he'll also get aggressive and he'll hurt other people. So she looks at him like, okay, he protects her too. Then you had a little boy who grew up with abusive women in his life. So he grew up and he becomes an introvert, just like the girl, where he learns to internalize abuse from women. And he becomes bonded and tied to this abuse. Then he gets in relationships with abusive women and have children with them. This is how this stuff happens, y'all. And now with the current paradigm that we're in society, shout out to Rain and Woman on the super chat. I appreciate it. Now you have TV shows that shows the dysfunction and people get paid for it. I talked about this before on the show. How they capitalize off of our pain and our trauma. That's what love and hip hop does. It puts people trauma and hurt on Front Street and they make money off the shit. It's really a form of exploitation, but it's not because you sign a contract and accept being exploited. So now you have the people who are messed up through these bad soul ties on TV being praised. They're stars. So this is why you have a bunch of us accepting the dysfunction and living in it. Because now it's cool now. It's cool to be dysfunctional. You lit. If your ass get drunk in public and pull your skirt up and show your ass to people and start popping your ass everywhere, you lit. You lit if you drunk and high off pills and pulling out guns in public and telling people to pull up. You lit. I got some lit t-shirts coming, by the way, too, y'all. Y'all stay tuned. I got some lit shirts coming. You see? So it makes these ties stronger. It makes them even stronger. Because hey, this is the way to be. What's wrong with it? See? This is why I say we gotta heal before we build. We have to. There will be no black community until we do that. There won't be one until we do that. Until us as black people become functional. And becoming functional is at the forefront. What is a bunch of dysfunctional niggas gonna do with money? What we been doing with it? Huh? A bunch of dysfunctional niggas with reparation checks does what for us? Hmm? A bunch of dysfunctional niggas inside institutions and owning shit does what for us? It does what for us? Nothing. Niggas got money right now. You know why it doesn't work for us? Because we're dysfunctional. Because we don't take unity seriously. Because in the back of our minds and deep down in our hearts, we believe that nobody gives a fuck about nobody. This is what black people really think, that we don't give a fuck anyway. This is why we're so destructive with one another. This is why we're ready to destroy anything we even try to build. Because it's like, fuck it. We have that mentality. Fuck it. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. The black manosphere could die today. This is what niggas saying. Destructive. But we talking about reparation checks and institutions. Niggas wouldn't know what to do with an institution. Niggas wouldn't know what to do with a hospital. We already know Umar Johnson don't know what to do with a goddamn school. You see? Give a bunch of dysfunctional niggas money for what? What's that supposed to do? Hmm? Man, if the system turned over today to us, we wouldn't know what to do with it. It'll probably be 5, 10, maybe goddamn 15 years before we got it up and running in a functional manner. You see? We got to get out our own way first. before we could try to make a way for everybody. We got to get out of our own way. And see, the way to break these soul ties, these bad soul ties, the way you break them is what you do is you go back and you find the source of what do you think got you to that point? Where do you believe it started? This is why therapy is important. But this is what they're going to ask you in therapy. Think as far back as you can. The first time you saw somebody, a woman in your family get abused, how did it make you feel? You got to face the problem. See, we don't want to face our real issues. This is why we can't fix them, because we don't want to face them. We think the real problem with black people is money. It's not. How the fuck is black people? How the biggest problem with black people is money when we're the biggest consumers? We have the most, we spend the most money. The problem is we don't know what to do with our money. If we understood the value and the importance of money, we wouldn't be the biggest consumers. We'll be the biggest producers. The people in society who have the most money to spend should be the ones making every goddamn thing, not spending it and buying everything. But we don't understand that. Because guess what? In therapy, they tell women as a way to get to relieve stress is to go fucking shopping. Don't go buy one thing that you like. Go shopping. Shopping and consumerism is a stress reliever. You see that shit? That's not for us. See, you can't tell black people that. Oh, you stressed out, nigga, go spend some money. You can't tell black people that. Hey, what's going on, Rice? Thanks for tuning in. Good to see you, Rice. You see what I'm saying? We can't tell black people that. Oh, you stressed out? Well, go buy a bunch of shoes and bags. Can't do that. See, other people can go and do that. You see? Because it does something for them, and it doesn't gives them the same consequence it gives us. See, when you coming from generational wealth and money, it's nothing for you to go and just go run up a tab somewhere. But when you're trying to build something, consumerism should be the last thing on your mind. And if us as a people are trying to build institutions and generational wealth, guess what? That consumerism shit cannot be, that mindset cannot be present. Are you able to buy things you like? Yeah, but that has to be worked into a budget. You see? That can't be a stress reliever to go and blow money. You know what the stress reliever should be? The fact that you faced your problem and that you're on a road to fixing it. Like I said, healing is a process, it's not an event. This is not some shit. You're not gonna get over the shit that you've been going through for the past 25 years of your life. You're not gonna get over it in 25 minutes. But if you keep acting like it's not there, it's gonna plague you another 25 years. See, this is the point. If we keep ignoring that, but wanting to keep talk about other shit like politics and all. See, all of that other shit that's part of the problem. But we'll be able to get our politics right if we was able to get our self-affairs correct. We have to get ourselves right within ourselves. Then politics and us collectively putting our money together and all of that, that shit will automatically happen. More black people will be on board to do that if more black people were healed and is thinking from a functional perspective. It's more of us that are not thinking that way. That's why we don't have the numbers to have a candidate to put in office for us, because it's more dysfunctional niggas that's okay with doing what they've been doing, because that keeps them safe and secure. You see? When you're used to dysfunction, you don't want to take no risk. Because when you take a risk, you putting yourself too far out there. You're no longer safe. This is why you got niggas that's not ready to do certain shit. And certain niggas will never be ready. As long as they could keep getting what they could get, to keep living in their dysfunction and being comfortable, people, this is what it's going to be, y'all. Sad to say, but this is what it's going to be. It's just what it's going to be. You see? And that's right, Mika. Can't run from the pain. Go towards it. Exactly. Exactly. So I appreciate y'all tuning in. Much love to everybody. Do me a favor. Check out those previous streams, The Power of Paradigms. Also check out Discussing Pain Bodies, and also check out The Attachment Theory. Check out those 3 shows, because all of these shows run cohesively. I appreciate that, Amanda. Appreciate that. Tonight will be Saturday Night Live. Tonight, 10:30. Make sure y'all tune in. 10:30 Eastern Time, Eastern Standard Time. Sheep Stay Sleep TV right here. Saturday Night Live. Tune in. Open panel, open discussion. You know, we've been having fun the past few weeks, man. I've been having fun since I've been doing this anyway, man. So like I said, we gonna do this every weekend. You know, if if circumstance permitted, we're gonna be doing it every weekend, man. Roaster Beast Part 2. Oh yeah, no doubt, cool gent. Yeah, you definitely could join the panel, man. Like I said, we're gonna kick it off like 10:30. You know, I'm gonna give people a minute to come through like I usually do. So I probably will start letting people come on the panel like around 11:15 or something. But you definitely could come through, homie. And the conversation, I just let the conversation flow. You know, it's about y'all. Oh yeah, you better believe it, Monica. Yup, yup. SNL type of shit. You know it. Yeah, it's an open panel. All y'all gotta do is hit the link. I'll put the link out there in the chat room, and y'all come through and y'all show some support, or y'all come up there and y'all talk y'all shit. Oh yeah, That's what I'm talking about, Mika. Make sure you hit that link too when I put that link out. I've been missing you the last couple weeks. I think you've been missing for like the past 3 weeks, Mika. Stop playing now. Stop playing. Man, with you up there, Mike, you already know it's gonna be a wild style, nigga. Fucking with you. Fucking with you. Yeah, tell her again, sis. Tell her stop playing. Yeah, it is. But you know on Saturday Night Live, bro, there's no PC. It's no PC, man. For the most part, my platform is not PC. You're not PC over here. Not politically correct. Not at all. Oh, okay. Okay. You've been working on the weekends. Oh yeah, I don't blame you then. You know, you be tired and shit. Oh, okay. You coming through tonight? All right. Well, we'll be here regardless. That's what's up, Amanda. I'm glad you do. I'm glad you do. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that, Amanda. But I appreciate y'all tuning in this afternoon. Like I said, I will be live tonight, Saturday Night Live. Tune in, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time, right here on Sheep Stay Sleep TV. All right, no doubt, Mika. I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody in the chat. And yeah, right, exactly, Mike. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is, man. But I appreciate y'all, like I said, man, and I'm gonna catch y'all later. All right, Saturday Night Live, 10:30 tonight, right here. Tell a friend and tell a friend. We out. Sheep Stay Sleep TV. Peace.